Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where I was taking a look at the available contracts, and I suspect we're going to have to unlock some new tech in order to get new contracts. We don't have any progression contracts right now, so I think those are probably locked behind tech. However, this Cylero orbit seems really easy to do and extraordinarily profitable. So I think we should definitely do that. The only main problem is that it must be completed within 600 days, right? So the question is, yeah, we can't go into the map from here. So the question is, how can we achieve that? Well, we can definitely work on getting it done similarly to how we did previously. So that seems relatively fine. Let's go ahead and accept this. And we're going to put this guy back out on the same pad as we have been. And we're just going to launch this and put it up into roughly that 500 kilometer orbit. That works really, really well. So that'll be fine for now. We're just going to put this over at a 45-degree pitch. We're going to go up to 2x and let's go. So off we go here. We're definitely going to have some attitude control issues. We know that that is the case as we get out over here. We're going to have these solid rocket boosters falling off shortly. So those will be burnt out as of now. There they go. Excellent. And our main SRB is going to be done shortly. So we can see we're already up to an apoapsis of almost out of the atmosphere, but not quite. And I want to ditch our fairing kind of now. So let's get rid of that, and I'd like to bring this guy over to about 15 degrees. I want to see how that feels. So we're putting a lot of additional thrust into our horizontal velocity here. Excellent. So you can see here that we managed to get up over 2 kilometers per second there, and that seems pretty decent. So at this point, I'm going to keep us burning at... I don't think I'm going to go to prograde. I think we're just going to remain here for now. I want to see if we end up making it into orbit from this attitude or if we have to compensate for our vertical velocity. This is a lot of horizontal velocity that we've managed to build up. You can see here we're up over 2 kilometers per second lateral, and that looks good. And prograde is still a little bit above where we are. So for now, this seems reasonably good. 2.1 minutes to apoapsis. That should have ticked down. There it ticks down. I'm just counting here. This is definitely ticking down, not at 1 second per second. Okay. That's like 8 seconds or so for it to tick down, so it's going to turn around very shortly here. We're not quite there yet, but this looks pretty decent. So that's going to turn around very soon. I want to, as soon as that starts ticking up, I want to take this down to 0 degrees. Which again, it should be ticking up basically now. We're holding at 1.8. There, it's ticking up. So I'm going to take us down to, I guess, 1 degree is the best we're going to get. We appear to have a rounding error. That happens sometimes. I don't know why, but it definitely does. Okay, so at this attitude, we should be seeing our apoapsis start to... Well, actually, we should just be holding at 1.9, I think. And that should be absolutely fine. Let's get those solar panels extended. Yeah, we're up to 2 minutes now. So this looks very, very good. We are just about to orbital velocity. The real question here is that deadline, right? That is the main problem at this point. So we can't just YOLO it because of the deadline and just do orbits the way I would in KSP until we are in position. So that is absolutely understood that that is not going to be a viable route. We're in orbit now, and we're just raising that apoapsis up. 350, 400, 450, and 503. Good enough. So that's fine for now, and we're just going to make our way around to here, planning a burn at the apoapsis, and we're going to push this on up until we've roughly circularized. It doesn't have to be perfect. Something along the lines of that. That's going to be 147 meters per second. Very, very minor. Okay, so that looks good. So now we're going to have to escape from here and head to Cylero. So that's understood. We're going to zoom out here, and Cylero is going to be our target. There we go. And now, if we come back over here, and we commence a burn right around this Terminator, what does that look like? So a pro-grade burn around that Terminator would put us at... We need to escape velocity here. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay. Let's pull that back a bit. That's going pretty far out there. We don't want to go quite that far. Okay. So we can see that there is definitely not really a great lineup here. So we can see about changing that timing. So let's see. We can see from here, we can see the closest approach info. Yeah, that'll be relatively fine. So if we were to bring this in this way, I'm wondering... Yeah, it's really going to be more of a timing thing. We can see that we could get there radially, but... I mean, that's going to be about 2 kilometers per second of DV. We've got 5. Honestly, that seems kind of okay. We need to dial this in within, I believe it's was it 200 megometers? Hang on, I want to double check this. 200. Okay. So we can just pull this back a little bit and have this be at like 175 or so. Something kind of like this. Accuracy is medium, huh? Okay, we'll go ahead and execute it. We'll do a corrective burn on our way. So that's fine. We know that it's going to be a lot of braking velocity, but that's understood. So, I mean, like I said, this is not going to be fantastic in terms of delta V, but this is going to be optimizing the transit time. So that looks absolutely fine for right now. And we are commencing this burn. I want to be in 2x because it's going to be like a 3-minute burn. Okay, so I want to be focusing in here for right now. And we're just pushing that right on out. Excellent. So that looks good for now. We should have enough DV to do our braking and circularization. That's all we need to do. So this shouldn't be a problem. This is not an efficient transit path, but it is a fast one. And that's what matters here, because this deadline can get pretty tight if we're not in a good transit window. Which, the awkward thing there is, from the main menu, as far as I know, there's no way to check whether you're in a good transit window or not. Or warp forward. So it's kind of strange, but whatever. So we've got about another 500 meters per second of DV to burn here. Okay, so we've completed Tier 2 of Drew Hyperbolic. Looks good. Where's our orbit at? Okay, so this is the orbit that we are currently in. So I want to plan a burn around here. We're going to need to dial this in a little bit. So actually, I want to change this. I don't want to radial this. I'd like to bring this down like this. Oh, that's much better. That is much better. That shaves a kilometer per second off of our braking speed. Yeah, that looks good. That's a pretty good approach there. Go ahead and do this. That is a good corrective burn. I like it. So that'll be absolutely fine. We didn't actually care about the accuracy issue that we had with the previous burn, because this is a much better encounter anyway. So we're going to be... It's not perfect. It's still not ideal. It's not efficient, but it's a lot more efficient. This is going to save us in total about 600 meters per second by doing it this way. So that looks good. We should be warping to this node. I think it stopped our auto warp when we changed sphere of influence, so that's definitely noted. Okay, so let's bring this on back, and that'll be fine. So 153 megometers, we'll see how accurate we get this burn. And that'll happen in 1.09 years, which is plenty of time. 152 megometers. Okay. That seems fine. This is definitely still giving us an encounter here. So let's go ahead and warp up over to here. There we go. Lots of time remaining here. But we really don't have time to do, like phasing orbits with the 600-day deadline. So that's just not really an option. Let's just warp on forward until we get into the sphere of influence here. And we can see that this is not particularly curved, which isn't surprising. Let's just bring this on around. Apparently, I can't select the retrograde node there, but we know that this is going to be about 1 kilometer per second of burn here. And that is absolutely understood. We're going to want to circularize this at about 152 megometers because we know that we need our inclination to be at, or not our inclination, our eccentricity to be at less than 0.1. So we're just going to circularize this on around. This is entering orbit here. That is a little overburned. So about like that. Cool. So let's go ahead and execute that burn. That should do the trick. This is going to be 973 meters per second. We've got 2.71 kilometers per second remaining. Excellent. Nice and easy. This went down to 147 megometers. Okay, that's awkward. We might stop this burn a little early. Okay, so let's just do this burn manually for right now. I'm not auto-executing this burn because we had it change a little bit on us here, so we're definitely going to manually execute this burn. Okay, coming out of warp, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm burning this much more cautiously now. Okay, this technically counts. There we go. I'm going to call that good. That's a circularized orbit. So our current eccentricity is 0.00. That actually is better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be like 0.02 or something like that, but no, this is nice. So we're going to go ahead and end that flight, and let's destroy that craft. No problem whatsoever. That is a very easy and extremely profitable mission for us at this point. So, I mean, we could do like Niobe flyby, a Brigo impactor, but what I really want to do here is I want to go into our tech tree and start looking for techs that are going to unlock additional contracts, like this one. So, soft landing gives us piston legs, and this will start giving us contracts to do landers on things. So that sounds good. We'll grab that. What else are we interested in? Heat shield coating. Okay, this is parachute stuff. Bigger landing gear. I think we're going to hold off on that for now until we've completed the progression missions that we've unlocked there. So let's hop out of here. And let's take a look at our career here. There are no progression missions here. So we might need to do a very quick mission here in order to open a slot, I'm thinking. So like this Brigo impactor. We could definitely do that. So let's go ahead and grab that. We're going to need to toss in our actual impactor. But otherwise, we can use this rocket. But I think we just need to re-roll our mission, our contracts is the term at this point. So that'll be fine. We're going to deposit this guy in here, and we're going to launch this from the alley pad. Excellent. So that looks good. Once again, we're going to launch this in a 45-degree pitch, and off we go. Excellent. So we need to go to Brigo, and that should be extraordinarily easy for this vehicle to achieve. It's going to be quite profitable, in fact, and yes, there's some attitude control issues. No doubt about that. We should ditch those boosters. Looks good. And our main booster is going to ditch shortly as well. Okay, off we go, and I want to bring this down to a 15-degree pitch, ideally. So taking a look at our trajectory here, we see that time to apoapsis is 1.6 minutes. We're building up a lot of horizontal speed, And our apoapsis, 500 kilometers is rather high, to be clear. So we would like to have a little bit more thrust in these stages, but there we go. That'll do for now. So this, I would like to be at 0 degrees. I'm not convinced that we can actually achieve orbit like this, but we'll see. Our lateral velocity is only about 2 kilometers per second, and you might be asking, why is that lower? The answer is A, I didn't stage the fairing quite as quickly as last time, and B, we've got this impactor, which is actually pretty heavy. That weighs a ton. Literally a ton. So that is the reason why that is the case. We can see here that our time to apoapsis is 1.6 minutes. We're probably going to have to nose up a bit. So that is understood. Yeah, we can see here this is coming down at a pretty decent rate. So we're going to need to nose up some. I don't want to change our heading. No, stop it. I want to change our pitch. Okay, we're going to pitch to 15 degrees and see what that does. Much better on this timing. You can see that this timing is coming down at about 1 second per second, but we're at 2x speed. So this is actually really, really good sign. That indicates that we are about to cross the threshold of pushing this further out instead of having it tick down. So I think 15 degrees was necessary here, but for now it looks good. We're at 54 and holding. Still holding. 55. We're ticking up. Now I'm going to take us down to 0 degree pitch. And you can see that starts to go down again. But that's absolutely what we want. So we are getting close to having that lateral velocity up to high enough. We're very, very close to orbital velocity, actually. So 45 seconds away here and going up. We can target a lower orbit than 500 kilometers if we wanted to here. We could easily target 200. We would have a hard time targeting extremely low orbits with this because of this stage being so low thrust to weight. We need a pretty long burn time, but this is looking good. So we could target about 200, which I think is exactly what I'm going to do. So we're at 190 right now. And that's 200. And you can see that we are in orbit, and all we'd need to do is circularize this. So that is indeed exactly what I'm going to do. Wow, that actually spins around like in KSP now. Why is it doing that when it didn't before? Okay, whatever. It's fine. We're just going to do something like this. I'm just not used to it actually working like it does in KSP. But that's okay. So the DV for this is 31. This is very, very little DV. I just saw our impactor fly off. Why? Is the staging broken again? I bet it is. Let's pull this back. I think it was probably held there by our thrust previously. But I'm betting that the auto staging of this is broken again. I need to remember to check that. No mention interstage. The impactor is actually in stage 1. I'm shocked it stuck around as long as it did then. Yeah, that's a habit I need to get into remembering. I always think that, oh, it'll like auto stage this in stage 6. No, it puts it in stage 1. Okay, that's my own fault, of course, but let's go ahead and relaunch this guy. And we're going to put this over at 45 and in 2x. Off we go. Okay, so this is as quickly as we can get to orbit, of course. I do want to get this stage, I think, well, I don't know. The vertical velocity is useful, for sure. I'm going to put us at 0 degrees here. Okay, we should ditch these side boosters. The attitude is definitely a little rough, but that's okay. Okay, main booster is out of here, and we are now utilizing this guy. Let's get rid of that. Perfect. And we're just looking to build up our, yeah, you can see here our time to apoapsis is going down. We're going to have to nose back up, but I want to trial getting lateral speed almost exclusively out of this stage. Okay. And then we're going to go in like this. So you can see here, our time to apoapsis is definitely going to be going down. Our apoapsis didn't even get out of the atmosphere like that. That's a problem. We're going to have to lift that apoapsis up quite a lot. I didn't notice that. So that is certainly an issue. We got a lot of lateral speed, for sure. And that would be one way to target a lower apoapsis, but I don't think that that's an efficient way to target a lower apoapsis, for sure. We'd want to target this at around 90 kilometers or so, but I definitely want to get this out of the atmosphere, and you can see our time to apoapsis is going down right now, although it's not going down quickly. So this would definitely be a way to target a lower apoapsis. So that's certainly interesting. We're out of the atmosphere as of now, so that is a good sign. But we need to counteract this vertical velocity loss, which is exactly what we're doing right now. Okay, time to apoapsis is 31 seconds. This is now starting to go up. So I now want to bring this over to a 0-degree pitch, which is not going to cause this to stop going down. It's going to go down quickly. But we need to build up some orbital velocity here. We're going to have to target maybe around 15 degrees. Maybe even a little higher than that. Maybe about 30. Yeah, somewhere around here. Our orbital velocity is really, really close. No doubt about that. So let's just burn here until we're at 89 kilometer apoapsis. I see that time to apoapsis going up. We could actually drop this down to 15. Time to apoapsis still going up. Let's put this back down to 0 now. We should be basically achieving orbital velocity very, very soon here. So this is an apoapsis of 90 degrees. You can see time to apoapsis is ticking down. That's fine. But it's ticking down slowly. We're basically at orbital velocity right now. 90.1 kilometers. Okay, I'm going to let this time to apoapsis tick down a little bit, so we're coasting right now. We're entering a coast phase. I'm just targeting a low apoapsis because I want to see how it would go with this vehicle. Okay, we're at the apoapsis right now, so I'm burning that. And yeah, something along the lines of this. I overburned it slightly, so our apoapsis went up by 2 kilometers, but something along the lines of that. So it is definitely achievable, but it's not efficient. You can see here we're at 51% fuel, which is plenty for what we're looking to do, but that is not efficient, for sure. So Brigo is our target here, and we are going to want to get our inclination lined up here. So I want to grab this and do this at probably the ascending node. Okay, and I'm just lining up these orbits to eyeball. This is changing very little. Oh, I see. We've got a wacky thing going on here. Okay, let's bring that back down, and we would have to eyeball it like this. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at this line, and I was like, why isn't this moving? That's because that's the maneuver. There we go. So we would be lining up something along the lines of this. So that looks okay. This would be an inclination of 0.31, and Brigo is at an inclination of 0.00. Okay, so we could try to match that inclination by doing something kind of like this. It's not going to get perfect, but it's pretty close. So let's go ahead and run that burn. That'll be fine. Did we extend our solar panels on this flight? Our solar panels probably fell off, didn't they? Okay, well, this is still probably fine. Assuming that this guy has a has an alternator on it. I'm not convinced that it does. So we're going to have to be cautious with our battery charge. That is probably okay. This is not actually executing the burn. Why isn't it executing the burn? What went wrong here? something went wrong. Well, we were paused, but we're still not burning. Okay. Are we able to control this at all? We are. Why isn't this engine active? Okay, I don't think I deactivated it, to be clear. Okay, what is our current inclination? It is dropping right now. So this is a little late for this burn because I was confused by what was being presented to me there. I might have accidentally turned off that engine. I'd have to go back and check. But I do want to lock us to here. Okay, for now that's fine. We can get this inclination down. That's about as good as it's going to go. Noted. So for now, what I want to do is I want to get us an encounter. So we're going to do a burn somewhere around here or so. That's pretty close, actually. That's an impact trajectory. I don't think we want quite to be on an impact trajectory, but something kind of like this would be decent. Getting this down within about 10 kilometers. Like that. Okay, so something like this would do just fine. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to try to do this with just what we've got in our battery, since I think our solar panels probably fell off with that much shallower ascent trajectory, so that is definitely something to consider for the future. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.